Ladies and gentlemen, yeah, I got my flannel on today, but different over here, So my flannel gotta have a hood, we gotta drip it out. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I made a video about Anthony Fantano a few days ago and explaining or speaking about him coming out and saying that the Iceman album was supposed to drop at a certain time and kept doing things and saying that, man, he might address it, this, that, and the third, but I gave what I thought about it. Today he addresses it. Why did he troll the Iceman release date? Oh, ladies and gentlemen, you never know when you're getting cookie recipe. Let's get
Anthony Fantano here, the internet's busiest music nerd, and it's time to get icy. With, of course, Iceman, Drake, Aubrey Drake Graham, Toronto rapper, music legend. He is about to drop a brand new record on us, which is sure to be one of the most talked about projects of 2026. It is a long-awaited album and seen by many to be kind of a make or break moment for him, because this will be his first solo release since his beef with Kendrick Lamar, which, some might argue had maybe a smidge of an impact on his career and public image. The debate around that fact is a little more ridiculous and contentious than
maybe just a little. So far, yeah, I agree with everything he said here. No matter what, that Iceman album is going to be a big album. I've always said it. Iceman going to do numbers regardless, because no matter how you cut it, Drake is still a part of the big three. I said the same thing about J. Cole. The apology that is not going to make his numbers change, right? It's all about what the battle really did was not impact their commercial success. Actually, it did. It did impact Drake's commercial success. It did. But what it more did was impact their standing in the culture and how the story will be told about them. Which, to me, if you think about your legacy, is more important. It impacted their legacy more than impacted their numbers. Except for Drake, it kind of impacted the numbers a little bit too.
I think it should be, while some of his most hard.
But, like I said, it's going to be one of the most hypocritical albums ever. And this lawsuit is what really gives it a bitter taste, because clearly he's going to be in here dissing. Clearly he's going to be in here slandering people. Clearly he's going to be in there defaming people, which I have no problem with. It's the lawsuit that makes it just like, what? That's what my problem is. But
core fans will tell you straight to your face, like, yeah, the GOAT is still unshaken, and he is still the #1 rapper. He is unstoppable. He is the best. He is the greatest. Kendrick has not changed that in any way, shape, or form. But simultaneously, if Drake didn't feel like his public image was impacted negatively in any way, why was he suing UMG? Clearly, the man came away.
It's just 1 + 1 = 2. You want it both ways. You can't have it both ways. You feel what I'm saying?
From the battle feeling some type of way. But listen, it's 2026. I'm not going to come on here and waste another minute or 5 minutes talking to you about this goddamn battle that is over and done with at this point, that some people still want to convince themselves needs litigation. But Drake is really trying to have a comeback moment here. He needs this.
They said no round twos. And I've been seeing a lot of stuff too, like, Drake is ready for round 2. It's when it's over, and it's far from over. I guess it's far from over. Let the Iceman project drop. But like I said, there is no getting past it, because Drake won't let you get past it. You know what I mean? Because people in their interviews won't let you get past it. Because Iceman, I guarantee, mark my words, will be throwing shots. Watch.
This new record to not just do well for him, but keep him in that #1 spot, or else it will seem like he has fallen from grace and he's not as successful as he used to be, and his reign over hip-hop and the music industry is pretty much over. And with the way the music industry currently works, that means not only does the music need to be good and widely appealing, but the rollout needs to be good too. And I don't know if you guys have noticed, but for the most part, the Iceman rollout so far has not been good, has not been good at all. Either certain announcements around the title or release or content of this album are falling flat, being met with a lack of interest, not to mention getting overshadowed by headlines of the various lawsuits and legal battles that Drake is currently embroiled in, whether it has to do, again, with this UMG defamation thing or the various gambling to-dos Drake is tied up in. As an aside here, it's kind of a sign that Champagne Papi is spreading himself a little bit too thin, that he has all of these orbiting problems and issues that are distracting from what people should be focusing on instead, and that's just simply the music. So you've got that, and also these different episodic visual short film pieces interspersed with bits of new music that Drake has been dropping that haven't really been getting rave reactions outside of his core fan base. Even guys like Kai Cenat, a dude who is absolutely incentivized as...
This is why I like Fantano, is definitely before he gets his videos, he gets his ducks in order. He definitely wrote, like I said, he treats it like a battle, like he writing a rap. He gets all his facts, he gets all, and then runs it down like. So far, yeah. But keep it going. I want to see what was the move, huh?
One of the most popular streamers out there with connections to big entertainment industry figures. Even he would be incentivized to like come on stream and pretend that all the Iceman episodes and visuals are good, but even he can't muster up a positive reaction to how boring and uninteresting they are.
They're spamming hidden messages that's dragged out to make it look artistic. The biggest waste of my god! I can't fake it. I can't fake it. That was ass.
And then I would say the third prong of this Iceman rollout is maybe the most annoying one. Basically, every Drake-connected media sycophant.
That's what we were waiting for. The Akadiddler strikes again.
Or stan on social media week in and week out talking about how the album is dropping. It's so...
And remember, if you watch my original video, remember what I said. And remember what I said about this shit is actually chess. And remember what I said about how this makes academics actually a giant hypocrite, and how I feel like he don't even realize Fantano's doing exactly what he's doing. And when I said that, I didn't have this video. Now remember what they got mad at Fantano for doing. What did they get mad at? They get mad at him for saying the wrong date, saying the wrong time when it was dropping, saying that it was gonna drop and it didn't. But now look at this. Shout out to Fantano. Boom, got him. We got him. We got him. What is he doing right here? What is the Akadiddler doing right here? The same exact thing. Checkmate.
Yeah, week in and week out talking about how the album is dropping. It's so soon. It's almost here. Freak out. Get hype. I've heard it. It's the greatest thing I've ever heard from him. Oh my God. Which for the length of time this pattern has been repeating, it's actually kind of had the opposite effect.
Hold on, let me put on my breakdown glasses. If y'all new to this channel, you might not have ever seen these, but you know, the legends when I did the ERB videos and all them stuff, y'all know what these are. Hold on. Because he's breaking it down right now. He's slow walking them.
In terms of making people more excited for Iceman. And whether it's Drake or people on his team directly instructing this behavior to keep discourse about the album going, or if these people are just merely incentivized by the attention economy on the internet, either way, it's not good. Which is why this past week, merely out of a desire to engage in a little social experiment, I decided to come online and just say that I knew Iceman was going to drop this past.
And like I said, I feel like if you know Anthony Fantano, you knew what he was doing. It's like, bro, this is just the cookie recipe 2.0. Like, how are y'all falling for the same only whoop? Like, what? But then this one to me was a bit more cerebral because it wasn't just a cookie recipe to make Drake look like he throwing a unnecessary crazy tantrum. It is also to show that why is it so, like it's also showing I'm literally doing what y'all are doing. But the funniest part is saying yeah, we actually had somebody in Drake's camp feed Fantano the lie, which is like y'all literally lied on a lie to try to look like you controlled the narrative. which is literally what people have been saying about y'all since the beginning. How did y'all not see? The strategy is just pretend like, instead of going like, he lied, I don't know where he got it, you got to act like you control the narrative. And because of that, your own hubris took you down.
Past weekend, and that it was going to come out in like 36 hours, and an exclusive source that I had told me this information. Drake, Iceman, it is happening, based on my exclusive source.
I low-key don't even know if Fantano even thought that academics would take the bait so well. I don't think he thinks that they make up a lie and say that somebody in the camp fed him the information. There's no way I'm going to believe I would have to believe that he's Dr. Doom then. I would have to think Fantano is Kaiser Soze or Kaiser Soze. I always say it wrong. I would have to, because that is like, that had to have just fallen in his lap, because like, what?
Iceman will be dropping in the next 36 hours. Keep an eye out, keep an ear out. Iceman in 36 hours. You're welcome. In fact, here is me texting my partner on Wednesday, just kind of proposing the idea. What if I said every day Iceman was about to drop?
This was the source. We fed you the source. Ether. It's ether. I tried to, I didn't want to say too much in the first video. Yeah!
Until it actually came out. And I'll also show you my side of a convo that I had over text with Torre, where I told him, I said that shit yesterday to see how many rap pages would post it. I'm going to announce Iceman is dropping every weekend until it drops. Now, before I get into the why of that, I will stop here to say, actually quite a few rap pages reposted what I said, many of which I'm sure were well aware that I most likely didn't personally have that connection to Drake's team in order to say with complete confidence that I knew the album was actually dropping, but posted it anyway because they knew it was going to generate views and traffic and discussion, which then brings us...
I didn't even think of that layer of it. He kind of cooked those media people too, because he showed that you could just plant a fake story and they will all repost it damn near like word for word, which these prompts have been popped up. Damn.
Into the why of why I did this, because maybe some of you watching this might think, Anthony, isn't that a little sort of like cynical to be consciously dropping misinformation about an album release date on the internet? And while, yes, it is, simultaneously, this is what all of Drake's fans have been doing week in and week out, and his team has been actively incentivizing this behavior. Like, what I merely did was engaged in a part of the Drake album rollout without being asked to do so. And I feel like the evidence of this becomes clear when you look at the...
Chess. He played chess. Now, this is one of the greatest... This is what an actual social experiment to me is. Not just when someone does something crazy, gets caught up, and then goes, ew, it's a social experiment. No, he clearly planned this out from the beginning. I just don't believe, I will not allow myself to believe he knew the result, because I think at first he just tried to be funny and poke fun at them. The result ended up being brilliant with the way that Drake's team and academics tried to handle it. That's when it became genius.
Reactions from those who post most positively about Drake on the internet in the media sphere, be it academics, be it Rory and Mal.
When you're hearing this, Iceman is out, according to Anthony Fantano?
Tano.
Some greaseball, some Italian name.
Oh my God.
It should be out right now, according to Big Ant.
I mean, I don't know who's
some subtle racism from
sources are, but his sources are wrong.
Who were very quick to run with this narrative that, oh yeah, Anthony Fantano, he wasn't trolling, he got fed bad information. Which is very funny, because I feel like these guys, when posting about having anything to do with Drake and me, would be the fastest to say, oh yeah, Fantano is the #1 Drake hater, Drake hates Fantano, there's like bad blood there. And if that's the case, like, why would Drake or anybody on his team...
It literally doesn't make sense. Like, why would Drake's team be... Oh, I'm sorry, Fantano, you got it. Go ahead. Like,
team tell me...
It was the fact that niggas fell for this. That's when I went, oh, wow. Whoa, okay.
Anything. Why would I, knowing that Drake hates me, take anything in terms of a release?
Like, I'm not gonna lie to you. This would be like if I'm not even gonna get him like
state from his team without sort of like, you know, taking it with a grain of salt. So again, yes, I just made it up because that's literally what everyone who's been promoting Drake and this album for the past 4 months has been doing. And continuing to push the hype for Iceman in this way, unfortunately, I feel like has gotten away from Drake and his team a little bit, given that someone like me can just announce randomly that the album is dropping in 36 hours and everybody goes into a fucking tailspin over it. So now Drake and his team have sort of like recontrolled the narrative around the record's release, very smartly, I might add, by putting up this giant block ice structure.
He had grown men licking ice to find out a drop date. I said, "Oh yeah, this rollout crazy."
In downtown Toronto, and essentially making it clear to the internet that information about the album's release, what they want to know about Iceman coming out, will be revealed once this ice structure melts. And continuing to give Drake his flowers, this is actually a really cool idea in concept. Very ambitious, very unique, very unlike anything else we're seeing in the music industry as far as album promotion currently. But as cool.
Yeah, you gotta call a spade a spade. Shout out to the same way what we could call the Clips rollout fire. Now I don't know, the block of ice thing and niggas running around licking on ice cubes to figure out a release date is crazy. So, you know, you have your opinion on that, but the fact that he's having a rollout is dope. I like that. I like that. You know what I mean? No matter how anti-hip hop he be when that lawsuit is. But you know what I mean? I like the rollout.
Is out there as this idea is. I feel like the execution.
I like that there is a rollout.
And the experience of watching the onslaught of clips and madness that has occurred as a result is more cringe than the TikTok Riz Party clips. This structure has pretty much become a hunk of shit to flies. The flies being all of these different Drake stands and streamers and hangarounds who have basically headed to this area to try to melt the structure actively with fire, with ice. They're hitting it with sledgehammers. With Drake actively incentivizing this behavior by buying many of these streamers subs live on stream. Again, this would be a cool idea in concept if it wasn't literally devolving into Rick and Morty Szechuan sauce madness. Basically every single type of Canadian where's my hug type.
Like I said, I like the fact that, you know, rollouts are happening. A block of ice and niggas licking on ice, that's just ew.
Dude showed up at this fucking ice structure to find out.
You know, the owls is going there and lick on some ice, man.
When this Drake album was coming out. All this has really done is made me feel more confident whenever I sort of engage with anybody who's very anti-me, pro-Drake on the internet, because I can now just imagine any of them as these people. I feel like I'm faking the funk calling myself a nerd looking at these dudes. Like, why is this guy licking the fucking ice?
You see what I'm saying? Right now I do. You see what I'm saying, bro? Yeah, Drake just exposed the freakiness of his base. I ain't gonna lie. You know what I mean? And I still don't believe this is his full fan base. I believe these are the extreme sycophant stands that come out to do this. Because, look, y'all ain't never beaten the allegation.
Not have the proof of this. I just know somebody peed on that thing. It's so funny because even when Drake does actually manage to come through with a good idea for promoting Iceman, the way he has shifted his fan base to turn into such an awkward, toxic, gross direction with all of the hate, all of the legal stuff. All of the gambling, all of the cringe. He can't even enjoy the W because his social experiment has attracted some of the worst people on the planet, which again, so funny considering all of the Drake camp social media freakouts over the past few years that we've seen over any celebrity or notable figure who was caught listening to or vibing to Not Like Us. And yet we're supposed to look at all this footage of streamers in tracksuits freaking out over ice and think this is cool. Yeah, okay, buddy. Either way, I hope Iceman drops real soon, because if it doesn't, I'm going to keep saying it's about to drop. Because why the hell not? That's what everyone else is doing. Adding in an additional clip here because apparently there are some Drake fans who were able to break their way into the structure in the midst of this video getting edited. And there was a piece of signage in that structure that says Iceman is supposed to be dropping
May 15th. I guess we are just gonna have to see.
Let me know what you think about all of this in the
Now, like I said, this to me was one of the most brilliant ethers I've ever seen, and he really just played on the insecurity of that camp. And now what this does, it holds a lot more merit to people who didn't believe any of the we control the narrative stuff. It also lets you it sets a tone of how they move in that camp and what they're willing to do and what they're willing to lie about. And all he had to do was do exactly what they've been doing. Ladies and gentlemen, round of applause for Fantano. Oh yeah, he walked him. He slow walked him.